Good evening, everyone. All right, it is Friday the 22nd, I believe it is. And as you can see, I actually have all of my um, initial foam risers in. I managed to actually get through the last of it tonight. And it's not, I'll call it done for the sake of saying all of the mainline trackage and the yard and all that stuff has the majority of its support in place. I actually still have a ton of little scrap pieces left over, and as I mentioned in a previous video, that's a good thing. I'm going to be saving that, and I can use it to fill in spots if I notice that, oh hey, this track when I'm aligning it has a little bit of an overhang. I can fill in a piece there and glue it down, and then I'll be using plaster, of course, to smooth this later. And one other thing that I should note, where I have these table joints, I am going to build up to the edge a little bit more, and I have kind of been toying with the idea. I'll have to see how it works, but I'm going to kind of toying with the idea that I'm going to put like a layer of spongy foam in at the end of this. So this way, you know, when you put pieces up together, that'll kind of compress and tighten up the joints a little bit more. It's just an idea. I may not necessarily go that route. There's a long way to go, obviously. I'm not even ready to start wiring this beast yet, because the next step is, of course, me going through and using, in my case, spackling compound probably, to start filling in gaps and leveling things out. And then I'll have to go back and sand things smooth and, you know, go back and forth with it. Plus, I want to do another more thorough check of the alignment. You can see there, like, those two bumpers are hanging off a little bit, and they weren't originally supposed to be. So I'm guessing that somewhere I'm probably slightly out of alignment with the track. This was more just to get all the general stuff laid out, and then I'll go back and touch it up and fix it up later. But anyway, for the time being, we're done. So I'm just going to roll back here and try to get as much of a shot of this as I can. You know, it's obviously it's a mess because there's still so much to do, you know, and layouts like this aren't an overnight project. These are, you know, years and years of work. So I'm not expecting this to look like some fantastic masterpiece, like, you know, by Christmas or anything crazy like that. But I am hoping that if I can get through all of the spackling and filling and sanding, that maybe come Christmas time I can do all my preliminary wiring and be able to at least run some stuff around, and then start focusing on things like my plans for my turnouts and at least the rudimentary plans for signaling. So, you know, there's a nice overhead shot of what I'm calling the Luxy Yards, or Jim Luxy Yards, named for my future brother-in-law. You know, and the site right over here for Eli's liquid gas transfer, which is kind of a running joke in the family. And then the ladder that leads out to the engine facilities, and so forth and so on around. So everything here is, as I said, it's at a state where I'm ready to start moving on to the next step and calling this step more or less done, except for the touch-ups and such. And I mean, you can go on forever, but if I sit there and keep saying, well, I got to do this before I can really say it's done, it's never going to feel like it's getting done. And that's too discouraging. So foam laid out, some good progress made with it. Next thing is going to be just going back through the realignment of the track, and then starting to do the fill and sanding work, and then some wiring, and then I can start laying out plans for other stuff as well. So that's it for tonight, and might be a week or two before you see any more updates, just because the next steps require a lot of effort and work, so I may or may not post any videos during that time. But anyway, there you have it for now. Have a great evening, and have a great Thanksgiving. If you're in the States and you celebrate, you know, have a great Thanksgiving, and if not, you know, have happy holidays for whatever you might be celebrating in the next month and a half. Have happy holidays, safe, happy times with family and friends. Take it easy. Have a good one.